So, good holy everyone. So, for today, we are about to discuss about neo-behaviorism with my group mates, namely yours truly, Angel, Kate, and Buok.
And Eduardo Dimo Jr.
Ana Di Maugtang.
And Fideline Grace A. Buron.
So, what is neo-behaviorism? So, neo-behaviorism is a behavior that cannot be fully understood simply in terms of observable stimuli and reactions. So, neo-behaviorism introduced mediating variables into the behaviorist stimulus response scheme. So, when we say neo-behaviorism, ito daw yung behavior na hindi siya fully understood simply in terms sa stimuli and reactions lang. So, neo-behaviorism has its aspects of behavior, but it also reaches out to the cognitive perspective. So, in education, it is used to understand how people learn what they need in order to be successful. So now we have two theories reflecting on it. So first, we have Tolman's purposive behaviorism, and the second one is the Bandura social learning theory. So class, we will be focusing first on Tolman's purposive behaviorism. So masyado po ba ako mabilis or okay lang? Okay, thank you sa response. So Tolman's purposive behaviorism was also known or is also known as sign learning theory. So si Tolman's is may key concept siya sa kanyang theory. So mayroon siyang apat na concept, and that are first we have goal directed. So it is learning that is always purposive and goal directed. So it means it is just asserted that an organism reacted on something based on his or her principle. Like individual do more than merely respond to stimuli. They act on beliefs, attitudes, changing conditions, and they strive towards goals. So yung ibig sabihin ng goal directed is mas focus sila sa kung ano yung goal nila, kaya yun yung gusto nilang i-achieve kasi may goal sila. So the second one is the cognitive maps. So in Tolman's famous experiments, he found out that an organism will select a shortest or easiest way or path to achieve his or her goal. So, di ba tayong mga tao is mas gusto natin yung sa mga mas madali. So like sa mga student, if pupunta sa school, mas pipiliin nilang dumaan sa mas mabilis o mas malapit na daan papuntang school. So we have the third one, latent learning. So latent learning, when we say latent learning, it is a kind of learning that stays or remains with the individual until needed, where learning is outwardly manifested at once. So at once lang siya mamamanifest, and hindi siya nagsistay lang yung learning ng individual hanggang sa hindi pa siya ginagamit or hindi pa siya gagamitin. So we have the fourth one and the last one, we have intervening variables. So intervening variables, it is a variable that cannot readily seen but it serves as a determinant of the behavior, where learning mediated, influenced by expectations, perceptions, representation that is need and other internal or environment variables. So Tolman's wanted to say that reinforcement is not essential for learning, but it provides incentives for the performance of the organism. So nakadepende din siya sa performance ng mga organism. So thank you for listening, and that would be all for Tolman's purposive behaviorism. And now we are going to proceed to the Bandura social theory.
So good holy. The social theory of Bandura is emphasized the importance of observing, modeling, and imitating the behaviors, attitude, and emotional reaction of others. Social learning theory considers how both environmental and cognitive factors interact to influence human learning and behavior. Next.
Okay, so in Bandura's learning theory, like for example, we have communicating with other people, showing with our observing others. So one of the ideas of Bandura's social learning theory is the observational theory. So for example of that, if a child observes their parent going to work every day, volunteering at a school, local community center, and helping their significant others with tasks around the home, the child is likely to mimic those behaviors. So, if rewarded, these behaviors become reinforced and most likely repeated by the individual. So, the social learning theory, it is about how you communicate with other people, how you observe with your surroundings, and how you will show your own attitudes.
So now, today we will gonna be discuss as a future teacher, how will you apply this theory in your classroom? So, as we a future teacher, I will apply Bandura's social learning theory to encourage my students to do desirable behavior as what we teach them into our classroom. Because Albert Bandura's believed that social learning theory occurs within a social context. So I let them to speak and participate in any class with my positive reinforcement and rewards. I considered their learning's capability to, excuse me, to obtain knowledge or strength from one another. While Tolman's theory was focused on the purposive behavior that makes my students to be goal-oriented or goal-directed. So I let my students to use their critical thinking to obtain knowledge from what they are doing, because through the test, my students will be conditioned to learn, and the stimuli response of the students will be observable upon doing the given task. It could be as a as a conclusion of these theories, it could be applicable in our classroom. It should be balanced for giving them a holistic learning and consider their behavior upon learning. So we all know that these two theories give give us a knowledge on how our students' behavior perform inside or outside in our classroom. So as we end our discussion for today, let me show you these two questions. So before we end our discussion for today, we will answer these two questions about on our discussion. So here are the first question. Please. So give at least two key concept of Tolman and cognitive factors in social learning of Bandura. And the second question is, okay na po ba? So let's proceed to the second question.
Yes po. Na-proceed na. Wala pa nakita.
Di pa po. I get it.
It is focuses.
Oh,
Nakita
it
na.
is focuses. So the second question is, it is focuses on the learning that occurs within a social context.
Paki-screenshot na lang po sa mga question. Ito po yung first question. Class. Next is question number 2.
And also, put your answer in the chat box. We will give you 5 minutes to answer these 2 questions.
Okay, na-screenshot na po ba?
So
Okay, thank you.
and our share. So that could be all our discussion for today. And thank you so much for listening, and God bless us all.
Thank you, class. Bye.
Thank you, class.